Portfolio, what it is and how to make it. Portfolio alias career portfolio. The main purpose of the career portfolio is to present your professional skills and competencies in a form that is compact and easy to read. In your portfolio, you can present yourself just as you are. That is why it is a lot of fun to make it. There is no single way, a one and only correct way, to make portfolios. Many different ways to create portfolios can be right. But we can give you a few general principles anyway. Different occupations have different portfolio practices, and that is why we will present the portfolio here mainly on the general level. In the social media, the portfolio thinking has spread to all occupations. A portfolio is closely connected to a job hunter's or worker's personal branding. Digitalization has considerably changed the portfolio practices, but the original purpose is still the same, to present your expertise. Formats of the portfolio. Nowadays, we usually create the portfolio in a digital form on a ready-made online platform on the internet. The digital portfolio can also be a file which you deliver by email to your potential employers. In a few jobs, people still use traditional handheld paper-type portfolios. In its simplest form, a working or process portfolio can be a box or folder where you collect your work samples, for example, in chronological order. It will be a showcase of your professional growth. This kind of portfolios are used, for instance, in education. A display portfolio is compiled for a precise purpose or goal. Select only your citable work samples, the ones that present your competence in a best possible manner in your display portfolio. You can have many different display portfolios for different purposes. Preparing your portfolio. You can make a portfolio in many ways. You can compile it with a computer in a digital format or make a concrete handheld version from different items. In practice, all display portfolios are nowadays digital. It is possible to compile a digital portfolio with many different applications, in some cases even with Excel worksheet application, although it's actually not very usual. Different kind of graphic software are probably the best option for compiling a portfolio, but you should not underestimate applications like PowerPoint. It is also very suitable for this use. You can compile an internet portfolio on an online portfolio platform, especially if you have no programming skills. Compiling this kind of web portfolio requires a certain amount of skills and patience from you. Content of the portfolio. Structure of the portfolio. Different types of portfolios can have this structure. Contact information, curriculum vitae or bio, summary of your professional activity, work samples with appropriate descriptions, presentation of work assignments in process and future plans. It is not necessary to include all these to your portfolio. The content should be determined by purpose. During this course, we will provide you with more precise advice for compiling a CV and a summary, but here a few words about the summary. A summary of your professional activity. The goal of your summary is to give the reader an understanding of your professional aims and what kind of services you offer or produce. When writing your summary, it is reasonable to think of the potential employer, client, audience, or receiver and consider how they can benefit from your activities. You can use different terms for different occupations in the summary, such as mission statement or an artist statement. You may want to use the same summary in your social media profile, for example in LinkedIn. Grouping your competencies. You could present your competence in the groups as follows: professional competence, general working life skills, self-management skills. Take this grouping into account when you select your work samples or when you write your CV or bio. A bio is a short text written in compact phrases describing your professional activities and history. The reader of your portfolio is mainly interested in your professional competence, but nowadays general working life and self-management skills are important too. Work samples and descriptions. Visual work samples are most effective way to present your competence. Work samples are typically photographed copies of your original outputs of your work. In some occupations, concrete visible outputs can be created easily and they are ready to be presented in a digital form. In other occupations, the images should be produced and staged separately. Images should be as informative as possible, and their technical quality should be good enough. Images are always open to interpretations, so it is better to include a few short descriptions beside your work samples. If you include a group work, don't forget to inform what your role was in the final outcome. Technical quality of photographs. The images in the portfolio are usually photographs. Next, we will provide you some advice on the technical quality of the photos. Do not use images which are too dark, too bright, or out of focus. A photo should not usually be uploaded directly from a camera. A photo usually needs some editing. Editing photos. Unless you have professional image editing software, you can use, for example, Windows Photos or Google Photos. Both of them are free software. Edit your images if they are too dark or bright and crop irrelevant parts away from your image. Add sharpness even if your image is well focused. Pixel dimension. Digital photos are made up of pixels, which are small square particles. The amount of pixels determines how distinct the details of the image are. The amount of pixel determines the size of the image file 2. Edit the amount of pixel so that your will have rich details, but the file size does not get too big. To give an example, an image that is made for display viewing in landscape orientation could have 2000 pixels on its longer side. This kind of an image will have a good quality on the ordinary displays with dimension of 1920 by 1080 pixels. It is full HD display, and the image will be fit to the display or screen. The same size image, 2000 pixels longer side, is enough for printing in A4 size with resolution of 150 pixels per inch ppi or dpi. Resolution means how many particles are included in a defined scale. In the case of bitmap images, photographs, the scale is normally an inch and particles are pixels. File format. Save your images in JPEG or PNG file format for web or portfolio use. When saving the image, adjust a compression level to optimize the image quality and file size. Two examples how to make a portfolio. Example 1. Portfolio with PowerPoint. Graphic software like Adobe InDesign or Illustrator is the best option to create your portfolio. But on the other hand, you can create your portfolio with Microsoft PowerPoint or Google Slides software just as well. When using either of these, you can move image and text elements freely, just like in the professional graphic software. Optimize the form of your portfolio for the display, because the ready PDF file will be presented on the screen. In practice, you should set the slide in the page setup to 16 by 9, because most of displays have that aspect ratio. In PowerPoint, you have the new slide function and ready templates. You can just select the right one and add content on the template. Of course, you can create your own layout too, but do not use too many different layouts to keep the presentation readable. You can also edit your images in PowerPoint. Depending on the version of your application, you will find the editing function in different ways. Double-clicking the image will in most cases activate the editing function. Do not hesitate to test bravely. When your portfolio is ready, save it in PDF format. Do not forget to check the file size. You may want to adjust the file size with the Reduce File Size function, which you can usually find in the File menu. Save the smaller version with different name and keep the original version in the safe place. Example 2. Web portfolio. Actually, a web portfolio is your professional website. The popularity of web portfolio has been increasing in the last few years. Nowadays, you do not need to do any programming to create your own website. There are templates available for web portfolios, and all you have to do is upload your content. WordPress is a kind of standard in this field already. You can create really impressive sites with WordPress, but using it can be a bit tricky. To create a portfolio, it is sufficient to use a simpler platform or template. Portfoliobox is an example of quite simple service. Web portfolio with Portfoliobox. First, you need to create an account to Portfoliobox. Then log into the platform with your own admin identification. There is a free version and pro version, which has more functions. In many cases, free versions have advertisements, but Portfoliobox doesn't, and it's diverse enough. Portfoliobox has several language versions, and you may find your native language among them. Some of the Portfoliobox functions don't seem to work quite right, but maybe you had better test it yourself. You will find the functions for editing the content on the right side of the interface. Publish it when you estimate the quality of your site is good enough. A few general notes. Good to understand and keep in mind. It may feel hard to get started, but just start it by making a raw plan of your portfolio suitable for you and collect a few work samples. Make your portfolio ready little by little. Collect material systematically and on a long-term basis. Document things when they happen. Save your documents carefully so that you will find them when needed. In the beginning, the portfolio can be quite concise, because you simply may not have work samples and different skills. But get started anyway, because you will learn by doing. Start by presenting, for instance, your hobbies, opinions, and plans. The main purpose of the portfolio is to visualize your professional expertise or convince other people in the way or other. It is advisable to keep the visual design of the portfolio quite simple, so you should cut out all kinds of visual hooky-pooky. From the visual point of view, a good portfolio may be a little bit boring. It is just factual. A strength of digital portfolio is that you can easily include audio, video, or moving elements in it. Nowadays, video CVs are quite common. It is worthwhile to upload videos to YouTube or Vimeo and then embed or link them into your portfolio. You must first create an account to these services. Do not forget to update your portfolio from time to time. Move any old work samples away and replace them with fresh new content. You should keep your portfolio updated, but the update interval can easily be a year or more. Links and more information on portfolios. You can find a lot of information on different types of portfolios in the internet. Here are a couple websites. I'm Antti Haapio from Tampere University of Applied Sciences in year 2020, proofreading by Teija Lehto.